Welcome to Forbidden Texts. What you are about to see may shock you. It may surprise you, but will definitely challenge everything you thought you knew. Stick around until the end to discover the forbidden knowledge that they don't want you to have.
You've felt it, haven't you? That nagging sensation, the creeping suspicion that something is shifting beneath the surface of your reality. You're caught between two worlds, the life you've always known and something else, something you can't quite describe. You've been restless, uneasy, like a caged animal pacing at the edge of its own transformation. And here's the truth no one tells you. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. The moment when everything is about to change is the moment it feels the hardest. You're closer than you think. Welcome to Forbidden Texts, where we explore ancient knowledge and forgotten wisdom. Maybe you've noticed the signs but dismissed them as coincidence. Or maybe deep down, something's coming. Something big. But before you reach the other side, there's a final test. A threshold that must be crossed. Ignore it, and you'll stay in the loop, repeating the same patterns, stuck in the same cycles. Recognize it, and everything shifts. And it all starts with the feeling you can't shake, the feeling of being completely and utterly stuck. You've been grinding, pushing, searching, doing everything you can to move forward. But no matter what you do, it feels like you're wading through quicksand. Every step takes twice the effort, and the more you fight it, the deeper you sink. It's frustrating. It's exhausting. It makes you want to give up. But what if I told you? This is a sign you're on the brink of something massive. That feeling of being stuck. It's not a block. It's pressure. The kind of pressure that builds right before a dam bursts. You're standing at the edge of a threshold, but you can't see it yet. And that's what makes this moment so dangerous. This is where most people turn back. They mistake resistance for failure. They think the struggle means they're doing something wrong, when in reality, it means they're right on track. What you're experiencing is the paradox of spiritual growth. The moment before transformation often feels like suffocation. Old energies, old beliefs, old versions of yourself. They're clinging to you like dead weight. And the reason it feels like you're sinking, it's because you're still trying to carry them forward. But here's the catch. You can't take them with you. The very things keeping you stuck are the things you need to let go of. The old identity. The outdated beliefs. The version of you that fit inside the past but has no place in the future. And that's why this stage is so painful. It's a death. Not a literal one, but a death of who you used to be. It feels like being lost. Like everything that once made sense has turned to dust in your hands. But being lost isn't the problem. Staying lost is. And if you can endure this stage without running back to what's comfortable, something incredible happens. The weight starts to lift. The struggle turns into surrender. And instead of sinking, you start to rise. But before that can happen, something else kicks in, something even more intense. A force that shakes you to your core and demands your attention. A surge of emotion that comes out of nowhere and refuses to be ignored. One moment, you're fine. The next, a tidal wave of emotion crashes over you, drowning you in feelings you can't explain. You might be walking down the street, driving your car, or sitting alone in silence when, boom, tears start falling, anger erupts, or a deep, overwhelming sadness takes hold. And here's the strange part. Nothing caused it. No tragic event. No specific trigger. Just an eruption from somewhere deep within you. This isn't random. It's not mood swings. It's not just a bad day. It's something much bigger. What you're experiencing is a purge. Your body, your mind, your soul, they're shedding years of repressed energy. Old pain, buried memories, fears, and traumas that have been locked away are finally surfacing. And it's not because you're breaking down. It's because you're clearing out. Think about it. When a deep wound is healing, it pushes out the infection before it can close. That's what's happening to you. The parts of yourself that have been suppressed, ignored, or denied are rising to the surface, demanding to be felt. And the mistake most people make, they resist it. They shove it back down, numb it with distractions, or convince themselves it's nothing. But suppressing this energy only keeps you locked in the same patterns. Here's what you need to understand. Feeling deeply is a sign of expansion. The intensity of your emotions is proof that something inside you is shifting. You're not falling apart. You're making space for something new. And the more you allow these emotions to move through you, the lighter you become. The heaviness starts to lift, clarity returns, and for the first time in a long time, you begin to feel free. But this freedom comes at a cost. Because as you shed these old emotions, something even deeper begins to unravel, the very foundation of who you think you are. You catch your reflection, but something feels off. The face looking back at you is familiar, yet somehow, it doesn't feel like you. And then it happens. That creeping sensation, that whisper in the back of your mind, who am I? It starts as a quiet question, but soon, it becomes relentless. The things that once defined you, your job, your name, your beliefs, your past, none of it feels solid anymore. It's as if the foundation of your identity is crumbling, piece by piece. And it is. Because right before a major spiritual breakthrough, the person you thought you were starts to dissolve. This is the disintegration of identity. The phase where the ego, the constructed self, the version of you built from societal expectations and past experiences, begins to unravel. And it's terrifying. You feel like a ghost in your own life, detached from everything that once made sense. You question your purpose. Your relationships start feeling forced. Conversations seem shallow. Even the things that once brought you joy feel empty, like echoes of a past life. And just when you think it can't get any weirder, the detachment intensifies. You feel like you're watching yourself from the outside, as if life is happening, but you're not really in it. The things people stress about, money, status, drama, suddenly seem meaningless. And here's where most people panic. Because society tells you that losing your sense of self is a problem. That if you don't know who you are, something must be wrong with you. But what if I told you this is the best thing that could ever happen? What if I told you that this isn't an identity crisis, it's an identity breakthrough? Because the person you're losing, that's the false self. The version of you shaped by conditioning, fear, and survival. And what's underneath it, that's the real you. The part that's been buried under years of programming. The part that doesn't need labels, achievements, or approval to exist. And as you start to shed that old skin, reality itself starts shifting around you. Patterns emerge. Strange coincidences begin to pile up. And the universe starts speaking to you in ways you never imagined. Everywhere you look, something feels connected. You check the time, 11:11. You hear a name you were just thinking about. A song plays with lyrics that seem to be speaking directly to you. At first, you brush it off. Weird. But then it happens again. And again. And suddenly, reality feels like it's winking at you.
A quick message. This space has become something truly special for many of us. A community of people on a shared journey of spiritual growth, healing, and awakening. Your comments and stories inspire me every day, and it's clear there's so much more we can create together, especially since this path can feel lonely at times. That's why we've created a spiritual space on Patreon, a sanctuary for deeper connection, exclusive content, and meaningful conversations with others from this channel who share your journey. Together, we can build something uplifting, authentic, and spiritually powerful. If this resonates with you and you'd like to be part of something bigger, whatever you're going through, you'll find the link in the description or pinned in the comments. Your membership not only helps support the channel, but also helps grow this beautiful community. Let's create something amazing together.
Like it's trying to get your attention. These aren't coincidences. They're synchronicities, the universe's way of guiding you towards something bigger. Before a major spiritual awakening, your perception begins to shift. The rigid, logical structure of reality starts to soften, and patterns that were once invisible begin to emerge. It's as if the fabric of existence is peeling back, revealing something underneath, something intelligent, something deliberate. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. You think of an old friend, and moments later, they text you. You ask for a sign, and within hours, the answer appears in the most unexpected way. Numbers, animals, symbols, each one carrying a message, each one perfectly timed. But here's the part that messes with your head. These synchronicities have always been there. You just weren't tuned in enough to see them. It's like reality has been leaving breadcrumbs, waiting for you to wake up and start following the trail. Some people ignore it, dismissing it as mere chance. But deep down, you know better. Something is orchestrating this. Something beyond logic, beyond probability. And if you have the courage to follow these signs, to stop resisting and start trusting, you'll notice something strange. The world will begin to pull you in a different direction. Away from the distractions, away from the noise, away from the people and places that no longer align with you. And that's when the real shift begins. Because the deeper you go, the more you start craving something unexpected. Solitude. Suddenly, the noise of the world feels unbearable. The conversations that once entertained you now drain you. The endless scrolling, the distractions, the small talk, it all feels hollow, like static drowning out something you desperately need to hear. And so, without fully understanding why, you start pulling away. You cancel plans. You stop reaching out. You find yourself craving silence, nature, solitude. Not out of loneliness, but because something inside you is calling for it. And here's what most people don't realize. This isn't isolation. This is preparation. Right before a major spiritual awakening, your soul pulls you away from the noise so you can finally hear what it's been trying to tell you. Because as long as you're plugged into the world, chasing distractions, caught up in meaningless conversations, you won't notice the shift happening inside you. But the moment you step back, the moment you embrace stillness, everything changes. You start noticing your thoughts. You start questioning them. You begin to see the patterns, the conditioning, the ways you've been programmed to think, act, and feel. And with every layer you strip away, you get closer to something raw, something real, your true self. And here's where it gets even stranger. In solitude, something begins to awaken inside you. Your intuition sharpens. Your dreams become more vivid, more intense, almost too real. It's as if another part of you, a deeper, more ancient part, has been waiting for this exact moment to wake up. And when it does, the messages start flooding in. Through visions, through dreams, through whispers that don't come from your mind, but from somewhere else entirely. You close your eyes, expecting the usual blank void of sleep, but instead, something else happens. The dream begins, but it doesn't feel like a dream. It feels real, more real than waking life. The colors are sharper, the air is electric, and there's a presence, something watching, guiding. You wake up gasping, heart pounding. Maybe it was a past life. Maybe it was a message. Maybe it was something you weren't supposed to see yet. But it doesn't stop. Every night, the dreams intensify. Strange symbols. Mysterious figures. Places you've never been but somehow recognized. And the strangest part, the dreams start bleeding into reality. You begin seeing the same symbols in waking life. You think of someone, and they appear in your dreams that night. You feel an emotion in a dream, and the next day, something happens that makes it come true. This isn't just random. This is activation. Your subconscious is opening doors that have been locked for lifetimes. Your intuition, your inner knowing, is waking up. And as it does, you start to understand something profound. There is more to this reality than what you've been told. You are not just a body moving through space, reacting to the world around you. You are something much bigger. And for the first time, you can feel it. But before you can fully step into this new awareness, something else begins to crumble. Something deeper, something sacred. The very foundation of what you once believed to be true. Everything you thought was real, everything you were taught to believe, begins to crack. The rules you lived by, the beliefs you held onto, the systems that shaped your mind. Suddenly, none of it makes sense anymore. You start asking questions. The kind of questions that make people uncomfortable. Why do we do things this way? Who decided this was the truth? What if everything we've been told about reality is a lie? And once the questions start, they don't stop. You look around and realize that most people are running on autopilot, trapped in cycles they don't even see, following beliefs they never question. And the deeper you dig, the more unsettling it becomes. The stories you were told about life, about who you are, about how this world works, they start to fall apart. And with every illusion that crumbles, you get closer to something raw, something ancient, something that was buried beneath layers of programming. This is the destruction of old beliefs. And it's one of the most painful stages of awakening. Because when you start questioning everything, you lose a sense of certainty. The structures that once gave you comfort, religion, identity, authority, begin to feel like cages. And here's the part that no one warns you about. This is where most people turn back. Because the truth is terrifying. It forces you to let go of everything you clung to for security. It strips away the illusion of control. And for a while, it feels like you're floating in the unknown, with nothing solid to hold on to. This is what many call the dark night of the soul, the phase where you feel utterly lost, disconnected, questioning everything, doubting everyone. But what if I told you this is the final test? Because just beyond this collapse, just beyond the fear and uncertainty, something incredible is waiting. A moment of clarity. A shift so profound it changes everything. The breakthrough. And then something shifts. It doesn't happen in some grand explosion. There's no flashing light, no dramatic revelation. It's subtle, almost imperceptible. But one day, you wake up and the heaviness is gone. The anxiety, the fear, the constant questioning, it's still there, but it doesn't control you anymore. Instead, there's a strange sense of peace, a knowing, like something inside you finally clicked into place. This is the moment you cross the threshold. The moment when everything that once felt impossible suddenly makes sense. You see through the illusion. You understand why things had to fall apart. And instead of grasping for control, you start trusting. Because now, you know, you're not just a collection of thoughts and memories. You're not your job, your past, your fears, or even your name. You are something deeper, something infinite. The people around you still live in the same world, but you see it differently now. You see the patterns, the energy, the way life moves with you instead of against you. You stop fighting, stop forcing, and instead, you flow. And in that surrender, everything starts aligning. Opportunities appear where there were once dead ends. Relationships that no longer serve you naturally fade away. The confusion is replaced with purpose, the fear with understanding. You are no longer just existing. You are awake. But here's the most important part. This isn't the end. Awakening isn't a single event, it's a journey. And every time you think you've reached the final stage, another layer peels away, revealing an even deeper truth. So now, you have a choice. Do you go back to sleep, back to the comfort of old illusions, or do you keep going? Because the deeper you go, the more you uncover. And the more you uncover, the more you realize this is only the beginning.